Hey there, welcome to First Five. If you're looking for encouragement, you came to the right place. Let's dive in. So today I want to talk about what it looks like to be so overwhelmed by the reality of your situation that you can't hear the voice of God anymore. What does it look like for you to be so overwhelmed by the walls that you have placed up, the walls of your sin, the walls of the things that ensnare and entrap you and enslave you, that you can't see God in the situation and you can't see Him working things together for your good on the other side of it? For me, for a long time, I really struggled with lust. I had a very strong struggle with lust. And I'm just being honest here because that's what this podcast is about, that we would talk honestly and we would share honestly about the things that are going on in our lives. And so for a long time, I really struggled with lust, and I was so just overwhelmed by my own sin that I didn't see a way out. I felt that this was going to be the prevailing sin of my life, that there would never be a day that I'd get any freedom from it because it was just so prevalent in my life. I was discouraged by the brutality of my own slavery. I was discouraged by the brutality of what I was going through. The reality of the situation was so overwhelming that I felt that there was no way that I would be delivered from it. I stopped being able to hear the voice of God because the shouts of the enemy were so loud that I couldn't hear the still small voice telling me that one day I would be able to overcome. I couldn't hear God promising deliverance because I was so ensnared to my own sin. You ever felt that way before? You ever been in a situation like that before? Maybe for you, it's not lust, but it's pride. Something I also struggle with. Maybe it's people pleasing. Like maybe it's just some other, sin that you have in your life. But I just want you to take a moment and think about that. What are the things in your life that are so overwhelming? What is the sin in your life that is so overwhelming that you cannot see the other side of it? You cannot imagine a life without it. You don't know what freedom looks like because you've been living life in slavery. What are those things that come to mind in this moment? I'm really encouraged by the scriptures today because in Exodus 6, it gives us a glimpse of what it looks like to understand and hear the voice of God and then tune the voice of God out, to be so discouraged by the reality of your situation that you can no longer hear what the Lord is trying to say to you. And in Exodus 6, the Lord is giving these promises of deliverance to the people of Israel. He's speaking to Moses, through Moses, to the people of Israel, saying, hey, I'm going to deliver you from the slavery, from your enslavement to Egypt. I'm going to remove you from this place. I am the Lord your God. I'm the Lord of you, and I'm the Lord of your ancestors. I have the power to do it. Will you trust me? I am going to deliver you from this place. I will claim you as my own people, and I will be your God, and I will lead you into the promised land. I will lead you into greater places because I am the Lord. And so in verse 9, it says, so Moses told the people of Israel what the Lord had said, but they refused to listen anymore. They had become too discouraged by the brutality of their slavery. Moses told the people of Israel what the Lord had said, and they refused to listen anymore. They were so overwhelmed, so discouraged by what they were going through, so discouraged by the slavery that they were in, that they could not see God working on the other side of it. Have you found yourself in this position before, where you felt like there was no way that you would ever be able to overcome? I know I have. I know I felt there was no way that I'd ever be able to overcome this. No way I'd ever get over this lust. No way I'd ever get out of this bondage and this slavery to this sin that these walls of sin that I had created around myself. And it wasn't until I was able to sit with God, to give it to Him, to take the time to give my sin to him, to give my life to him, to give my circumstance and my reality to him and allow him to do much more with it than I ever could. I couldn't strong will my way through it. I couldn't think my way through it. The only way that I was able to overcome a sin nature is to give it to God, to trust his word, what he said, and hold on to it for dear life. I couldn't close my ears. I couldn't be like the people of Israel, and you can't either. Don't refuse to listen. Don't find yourself in a position where you are so ensnared and so entrapped by your own sin, by your own reality, so overwhelmed by what you're going through that you can't hear God anymore. Create space to hear God. That's my encouragement for you today. Create space to hear God. Create space to get alone with God and hear from God. Take a walk out in nature if that's what you need to clear your head, but create space in your life to allow him to do the heart surgery, to do the hard work and remove you out of bondage into freedom. The Bible says they had become too discouraged by the brutality of their slavery. What is beating you up right now? What has you ensnared? What has you entrapped? What has you enslaved that you need freedom from? Take those things, give it to God, and be encouraged by the truth of his word. Be encouraged by what he has to say to you. And don't allow the discouragement of the brutality of what you're going through. Don't allow the discouragement of the overwhelm of your reality stop you from hearing God's voice. Don't be like the Israelites. Don't refuse to listen. Open up your ears. Create space for God to move and to speak. And allow his word and his truth and his voice to encourage your soul and lead you to freedom. I really hope that encouraged you today. We'll talk soon.